Do you remember buying your first car, moving out of home for the first time, losing your virginity, your first heartbreak, maybe even that first drink? These rites of passage help shape who we are and mark important transitions in our journey through life.
The first vehicle I had was a little Toyota Corolla, and it was an awesome little car. My dad had picked it up at an auction or something, and it was a little white, probably about a 1973 Toyota Corolla. Yeah, it was a good car. Had a lot of fun. Stick shift. They called it a 3 in the tree station wagon, and my friends took me out to teach me to drive because I was a late bloomer in that field, and in that regard, I mean. And so they took me out south of town, took me to the top of the hill, and they all hopped into another vehicle and left me in this one car and said, all right, come back and see us sometime, sort of thing. So, but I figured it out. It took me a while, but I got there.
2000 Vauxhall Corsa, and it was only small thing, like 3 doors, like a 1 litre engine, black, and I used to try and do it all up, like tint the windows, like paint the wheels, and it's all like bodged, all hand done, so it wasn't very nice. It kind of ended up like nearly blowing up on me on the motorway once. I was driving down and all the hoses burst off and all the steam, so that was the end of that car after a good, 6 months I had it, and it cost me like the whole of about £600.
I had one that my sister and I had together. My first car that was my own car was a baby blue Mustang that I got when I was a rock star singing rock at the Coronet Hotel, right? And bought it from a kid at home, and used to take out the one seat in the side of it, so I put my shear columns in there when I did gigs by myself, so I did my PA in the one side of the car. And I loved that car, and it was the classic 1966 Mustang that they've copied again to these days. Yeah, it was beautiful. I traded it off on an Econoline van for the band. Needed it. We did what you had to.
1998 Honda Civic, and it was my uncle's car. It was about a week after my 16th birthday, and he sold it to me for $3,500. He was very hesitant on it because he loved it, but it was like my favorite car. It was awesome, and it had like really cool little red decals on it that made me feel like I was going faster. I lived in Grimshaw, and I went to school in Peace River, so it was like 30 kilometers. So I had to take the school bus before. So after that, I was like, yes, I don't have to take the school bus with kids anymore. It was nice.
It was a 1994 Chevy Cavalier. It was like fire engine red. Got in an accident, I think, within 2 months of first owning it. Nearly totaled it. Had a lot of damage on it, but it got fixed up, and it was an amazing car for me at the time. So couldn't remember how much I was paying on it, but I was one of the first out of my friends to get a car, and then everyone gradually throughout that year, when we were all 16, got cars. I was born towards the beginning of the year, so it was kind of a year when each of us guys that hung out in our groups got our various vehicles, and I remember driving around Fort McMurray nonstop. We would just drive at nighttime and hang out in parking lots and things like that, and had a blast.
A 1976 Dodge Coronet. I think I was 18. It had been my parents' car. It really, really hit every definition of a boat. It was the smoothest ride going. It was green on the outside. It was green on the inside. It had a plush velvet interior, like some of the nicest upholstery I think I've ever seen. My parents had put in air conditioner after the fact. It really didn't work, but it was put in, I remember, with this sort of tar-like substance that used to drip when the car got wet. And it was really, really, really noisy. And I drove that thing for about 3 years. I bought it from my dad for $1. He was very proud of that transaction, going to get insurance for it and me handing over $1 bill at the time.
My very first car was a used 76 Camaro, and I kept it for a very long time. It was a great car. It was pretty good on gas. It had the smaller, I think, 305 engine in it, and can't remember what I paid for it. It was probably around $3,000 at the time. It was slightly used. My father was a mechanic, so he looked at it and it was in great shape. And at the time, they were a pretty cool car to have.
The first car was a Dodge Mirada, and it was white. It kind of looked like a shark. It had a real interesting set of lines on it. It was my brother's wife's car, so I got a really good deal on it. It was my first loan, locked in at probably 17.75%, which was very high back then, but it was to go higher. So we, yeah, that was. I didn't have a very big payment, but I had to work quite a bit to try and keep the money going for the payments. So went from a car to a truck right away. I realized I was a truck girl.
2001 Chevy Malibu. I went to the auction with my grandpa and bought it. It lasted me actually quite a few years. Then I ended up giving it to my sister after she got into a car accident. So it lasted me 4 or 5 years. And then yeah, after she got in her car accident, I gave her the car so she could have something to drive around in. And then I bought a brand new car. So yeah, there's not really much sentimental value around it. It's just, there's a lot of road trips, off-roading.
It was a 1984 Chevy Chevette scooter, 4-speed, like AM/FM radio, which somebody later stole. And yeah, I got it for $400, and it was the best purchase I ever made. I think I had it for like 6 months, and then it met an unfortunate end, so to speak. Yeah, I got in a little crash with it.
My first car, I was 18, and it was a Chrysler Neon, not 100% sure of the year, but it was a like dark pinky purple color. So I named it Ron Burgundy after Will Ferrell's character in Anchorman.
It was a Volkswagen Beetle when I was living in Puerto Vallarta, and it was a used Beetle that my dad kind of passed on to me. And those Beetles, I don't know if anybody remembers, but they're quite sturdy. And I loved it because during high rain times in Vallarta, it kind of gets flooded. And Beetles, when you come really quick to an area where there's a lot of water and you should stall, it actually floats away. It's kind of like a little canoe. You just have to keep the gas on the foot on the pedal, so the gas constantly is exhausting, and it doesn't get filled up with water, and they just float away. So during rain season, I used to like cruise to Puerto Vallarta, come with a little bit of some speed, and then just cross these lakes just on the floating part of the car. It was a lot of fun. I love that car.
To watch more stories or share your story, visit us at yourfirstkiss.ca.